the country. Now, this sporting rupture is part of a broader freeze in bilateral issues. It's the politics and the recent unrest in Bangladesh affecting the larger cultural landscape in India. There is no denying that alarm in India is at its peak over atrocities in Bangladesh and also an unexplained, unwarranted anti-India hate and prejudice creeping in the language, statements and behavior of those in power and those outside of power in Bangladesh. But does seeking relocation of its T20 World Cup matches from India, for example, or banning broadcast of IPL help Bangladesh's cause? It is tit for tat, sure, but who does it hurt? Can it be a non-issue really for India? One thing's clear, with elections in February, it is unlikely anything in Bangladesh will change anytime soon. And till then, will both sides hold the cricketing hostilities and cricketing fire, or will they only get worse? Is the question that we'll take to our guest joining us in just a bit. So first up on the show tonight, Bangladesh IPL Row. It is quickly becoming a big one, with Bangladesh now banning the IPL broadcast itself. Also on the show, we'll get you how there is no relief, no bail for Umar and Imam, two protagonists of that Delhi riots conspiracy allegedly. We'll be joined by Geeta Luthra on her views of why she feels they deserve bail as well. Later on the show, as we look forward to the upcoming BMC elections, we have a special conversation with an authentic Mumbaiker, Priya, that is joining us for our BMC Polls special. Now, here's how the entire Bangladesh controversy has panned out so far. Just take a look at how things have been. It was last month in December that KKR purchased the Bangladeshi fast bowler Mustafizur Rahman for 9.20 crores at the IPL mini auction. At that time, there wasn't much political backlash. It almost went unnoticed, and he was the lone Bangladeshi, mind you, who was bought by any of the teams or who was going to feature in the upcoming edition. But by the turn of the new year, there were rising tensions and public pressure, and there were voices even from within the BJP, ruling BJP, that were criticizing KKR for having this Bangladeshi player in their team. And the consequence of it was that on January 3, BCCI directed KKR to release the player and take a replacement if needed. By the next day, the BCB, which is the Bangladeshi Cricket Board, had sought relocation of its T20 World Cup matches in India. Remember, that is coming up in February later this year. And now, today, Bangladesh has imposed a ban on IPL broadcast itself. The question is whether any of this is really going to have any impact on India. In fact, on that, let's take a look at why the IPL organizers, the franchisees, owners and others, or the BCCI might not be too concerned when it comes to this. Because Bangladesh accounts for less than 1% of the tournament's overall viewership. Therefore, IPL's reach and commercial impact is going to be completely unaffected. IPL's core revenue, in fact, comes from India itself and other major overseas markets. Bangladesh is not a decisive market in that concern. IPL has previously absorbed many a shock. It has even been shifted outside of the country and has remained rock solid. It has absorbed a similar shock from Pakistan's ban and has come out unscathed. And it's likely that the ban, in fact, will hurt Bangladesh more, as it deprives Bangladeshi cricketers, upcoming cricketers or their fans the exposure and, of course, the exposure to the IPL matches. And, of course, what is happening, there's a huge followership there as well. And it could also, in future, negatively impact the prospect of Bangladeshi players being picked up by the Indian IPL sides. Now, the ban on IPL telecast is only the latest in a series of events that has triggered diplomatic tensions between the two countries. It began with the ouster of then Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in August 2024 and India's subsequent move to grant asylum to her in Delhi. Then the attacks on Hindu minorities in Bangladesh that led to severe friction and continues to be the case. And what further added fuel to fire has been Dhaka's drift towards closer alignment with China and Pakistan's statements to that effect. China has stepped up infrastructure investments while military and diplomatic engagement is ongoing with Pakistan. So if you see all of that, I don't think there are many in India that would be able to justify any close friendship with Bangladesh. But this latest episode, is it a storm in a teacup or is it going to be much worse? And will Bangladesh's ban on IPL broadcast, will that be any issue for India, or is it going to be a non-issue when it comes to this tit-for-tat measure? That's coming up with our guests. Let's go across to our guests. Joining us, Kailash Adhikari and Atul Swami, political analyst with us. Atul Vasan, former Indian cricketer, is also with us. Atul, I will begin with you. How do you see this move from the Bangladesh Cricket Board and the government there, banning IPL's broadcast? Yes, it is coming after India did something that they are not going to like. But was this necessary, and is it going to hurt Bangladesh more than India?
Of course it is. I think it's silly even to ask this question because we all know we can do without Bangladesh cricket, and more so, Bangladesh cricket will suffer because the bilateral series will not take place anymore, and Bangladesh tends to lose a lot of money. For India, for IPL, I think it's just water off the back. You know, it doesn't make any difference. But for Bangladesh, just to up the ante and retaliate or seem to be doing to just do these things to save face is like cutting the nose to spite the face. And I think I am, in the larger picture, even IPL and cricket set aside, I am just shocked that Mohammad Yunus, I thought is a Nobel laureate, will be educated enough and smart enough to know, which bets to hedge, And I think under his watch, if these things are sliding down to these levels, it's very disappointing.
Okay, Akhil Swami, you look at how Bangladesh has been behaving against India, now banning the IPL, etc. Don't you think that they're also responsible to provoke India, not just the fact that there are atrocities against Hindus, anti-India rhetoric going on in Bangladesh, but they've also played their part in cozying up to China, to Pakistan, making anti-India statements, their government itself. Our government hasn't done that. So have they brought this upon themselves?
It is not limited to cricket only. It's a question of India's position in the subcontinent. Pakistan is a rogue country, is an enemy country. China is siding with Pakistan. Indira Gandhi very intelligently crafted in 1971 a division between West Pakistan and East Pakistan, divided into a Urdu-speaking West Pakistan and Bangladesh, which was a Bangla-speaking. And so foolishly, we have allowed a friendly country, Bangladesh, to align with China and Pakistan, and our total Nardian frontier is unsafe now. It's not limited to cricket alone. Now that proverb is getting proved. Eye to eye will make everybody blind. See, Shah Rukh Khan, just because he's a Muslim, the Bajrang Dal and rogue elements which created havoc in the Christmas and insulted Christians, and that is why we are paying the price, and Donald Trump is taking all type of revenges from us, that you are insulting Christians, you are insulting Muslims, and you have allowed Bangladesh to align with
what do you mean
Pakistan
we have allowed?
China.
What do you mean?
It's a failure.
No, what do you mean we have allowed? It's a free country. India has always been friendly to it. In fact, in Bangladesh, their grouse...
How this situation has arisen?
No, in Bangladesh, their grouse is against India is that India tries to play big brother. India exerts too much pressure or too much influence. What you're suggesting is exactly what they don't like India for, that we should control who they should be friendly with or not. If they don't want to be friendly with us, then that's their decision, no?
So it's India always was a secular state. We were the most secular country in the entire world. Since last 11 years, we have behaved so irresponsibly, and we have worked against Christians, burnt their churches. We have
no church has been burnt in India. Let's not overstate the issue.
Oh, what happened in Manipur? What happened in Manipur?
Manipur violence is a completely different issue. In Manipur, a lot of things happened. You can't segregate a church burning in Manipur.
Why the government of India could not control fire in Manipur for 2 years?
No, Manipur is a separate issue. Don't bring this into a religious issue.
Yes, it is a religious, because in Raipur, the hooligans get into a mall, and the lady here says...
Nobody's denying that, but please don't act like some churches have been burned down in India. That's also not true.
That happened in Manipur.
Manipur is a completely separate case of a state being under violence for many other issues. It's not the case about Christmas being attacked in Manipur.
In last 11
non-Christians have also been attacked in Manipur.
That is why we are paying the price for it.
So you are saying India is to be blamed for this, for the fact that Hindus are being attacked in Bangladesh? They have been killed.
BJP is to be blamed, not India, not my motherland. I love my motherland. I hate BJP because BJP is divided country from within.
Kailash Adhikari, what was the need to even inflame passions by asking this lone Bangladeshi player to be removed from the IPL? Who was it going to really hurt?
No, it is not about the question of Shivani, who was it going to really hurt. If you remember in 2007-8, after the horrific blast which happened in Mumbai. IPL had to, we as a nation and BCCI as the Board of Cricket Control of India took a stand that no Pakistani players will play on our soil. So all the franchises were very clear, and till date, it is 2026 IPL that is our relation, especially with Pakistan. And if we feel and if we have seen actually the atrocities that have been done to the religious minorities in Bangladesh, the Bangladeshi Hindus, whereas India diplomatically has taken up this issue very strongly with them, and Bangladesh has not even responded to that, then as a nation, we need to uphold our own sovereignty, and India has done so. Yes, at that particular point of time when the options were going on and KKR selected, there was no such feeling. But then when fillers came in, KKR dropped that player. BCCI sent a request to KKR that the replacement will be given. You drop this player in national interest. It had to be done.
No, so
if Bangladesh is banning IPL broadcast, or if Bangladesh says that we don't want to play in India, then it is, as Mr. Vasan said, it's truly Bangladesh's loss. Indian Premier League, if I'm not mistaken, is the second richest sporting league in the world right now. It is, if I'm not wrong. How does it impact financially, or the IPL, the entire economics and the PNL of IPL does not even get impacted by Bangladesh at all. It is Bangladesh's loss. If they want to play this particular kind of game, then happy to do so. But then India is
while I don't agree to the view that India is to be blamed for what is happening in Bangladesh today, or as Akhil Swami said, BJP is to be blamed for it. Because if that was the case, then in Pakistan... let me finish. If that was the case, he's saying last 11 years things have happened. If that has only happened because of BJP in power in Delhi, then in Pakistan, Hindus would have been doing much better. Christians would have been doing much better, right?
No.
But they are not. So it has nothing to do with who is in power in India. These countries should not be given the license to behave in a certain way just because they don't like who is in government in India. I don't think even Indian opposition should give them the license to behave differently with us, to somehow put pressure on us. And, Indian opposition should not make a truck with other countries, especially these hostile countries. But my point was, Kailash Adhikari, that Pakistan is still different, Bangladesh is still different. Have we gotten, overswayed or carried over a little bit by, doing what we did in Bangladesh's case? Yes, Pakistan cricketers are banned for a very different reason.
No, we have not gone swayed, Shivani. What India has done, what BCCI has taken a stand is absolutely clear. And as an Indian, I support what BCCI is doing, and I support what Indian government is doing. And I'm completely against the fact that, India has any role to play, or the Bharatiya Janata Party, the government has power in any role to play with any kind of situations that happen in Bangladesh. The situations which are happening in Bangladesh are on Bangladeshi soil, and they need to take responsibility of the same. And we have seen the series of events. It's not just with the young boy who was horrifically killed. Then a businessman had to face the same, and he had to succumb to injuries, Shivani. So what is happening on
as of now, 4 Indians have been killed for various reasons under various pretexts. And this isn't just about those 4 Hindus. It is also about a number of Hindus. The percentages of Hindus in Bangladesh have gone down. So it has, nothing to do with the fact whether Sheikh Hasina was in power or not. It has been a culture in these predominantly Islamic countries, and if Akhil Swami doesn't want to believe in that, then we're going to be suffer the consequences that we have been suffering post-partition. But yes, Atul, you wanted to come in.
Yeah, I just want to say, see, the point is that what board has done is totally correct, and I think we should not blame whether who's done this. This is our foreign policy. Maybe it is not to the liking of Bangladesh at this point. And enemy's friend is also my enemy. So that's what happened. And I think what is happening right now is very disturbing. Why? Just leave the cricket aside. I mean, if players will suffer because of this, like a lot of football players from Russian federations have been sanctioned by world bodies because of their invasion into Ukraine. So the players and the athletes are collateral damage. So be it. But nation is always bigger than whatever is the problem. So I think the problem is no problem for IPL. We will not. They will suffer more than what they're doing, but they want to up the ante. It is like just as I said, cutting your nose to spite the face. But what else they can do? I think the biggest the statistics is that we've got how many? Maybe 5 or 7 million Bangladeshis living in India. What happens tomorrow? Like Trump is packing Mexicans back, deporting them back to other countries. What if we start doing this? So Bangladesh hasn't got an end game. They should see it through. You know what? Because India can do 50 other things more than just banning a player from
No,
IPL.
I don't think
or not
India
sending a
at
team.
all wants to go down that road, and no harm should come
Why not?
against any legal Bangladeshi who has come in India legally. The concern
Cancel
over
their
illegal...
work permits.
Yeah, exactly. The concern is mostly against illegal Bangladeshis. Yes, Akhil Swami wants to come in.
See, the basic point is everybody is so concerned about IPL that there will be no loss to IPL because Mr. Jai Shah, son of Mr. Amit Shah, is the chairman. But what
He's
will be
not the
loss to
chairman,
India?
sir. He's the ICC chairman.
ICC chairman. So
Yeah.
the basic point is that you allow India to play cricket with Pakistan in Dubai, and IPL is not losing anything. But my motherland is losing because in this subcontinent, you have allowed Pakistan and China to make friends with Bangladesh, and we are totally isolated from the northern frontier. So Jai Shah is not suffering. The BCCI will not suffer, but my motherland will suffer.
Okay. Kailash, you want to respond to that? Overall, this brings into question the diplomacy that has gone wrong, as Akhil Swami puts, with our neighboring countries. We've seen some skirmishes with even with Nepal. We've seen it with Sri Lanka. We've seen it with, of course, Pakistan is a different issue, but now with Bangladesh as well.
It's not about any foreign policy going wrong, Shivani. If our neighboring countries, and at the time of COVID pandemic, India extended help of its vaccines to all its neighboring nations. Be it Sri Lanka, be it Bangladesh, or be it Nepal. I mean, Covaxin and Covishield were predominantly the only vaccines used in Nepal. If India had to adopt a very hard stance of diplomatic relation with its neighbors, that at the time of the crisis it would not have helped its neighbors. Now look at our relations with Bhutan. We have such beautiful relations. When Honorable Prime Minister was first sworn in 2014, Bhutan was the first nation where Honorable Prime Minister toured. It is not that how you get the reciprocation also. जैसे शिवानी हिंदी में बहुत सिंपल कहावत है कि इज्जत देने से और ज्यादा मिलती है. चाहे पाकिस्तान को बांग्लादेश को अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमें कभी उनसे उतना रेसिप्रोकेशन मिला ही नहीं.
Exactly. So that is the concern. Now we do so much for them. Why don't we get? Why are we not able to get them on our on?
At one point of time, naturally we will talk about our own sovereignty and we will try to uphold our own stance with them. There's nothing wrong if a country speaks for itself.
Yes, Akhil Swami.
इंदिरा जी की सारी मेहनत पे आपने 11 साल में पानी फेंक दिया. इंदिरा जी ने बड़ी मेहनत से बांग्लादेश को आजाद कराया था और आज के तारीख में
बांग्लादेश को क्यों नहीं याद है?
इसमें तैयार कर दिया.
ये बांग्लादेश को क्यों याद है?
Everybody is against. Everybody is against.
No, but Akhil Swami, can you deny the fact that there are people in Bangladesh today who are not just against India, they're against the liberation of 1971 as well. They are attacking the symbols of 1971 liberation. सर सुनिए तो सही, मेरी बात तो सुनिए आप नुआंस तो समझिए.
40 साल हमारे दोस्त बन के रहे. मोदी जी के बाद संबंध खराब हुए हैं.
अच्छा नहीं, बट मेरी बात तो सुनिए. बांग्लादेश में जो लोग हैं जो शेख हसीना को हटाना चाहते थे, अब यूनिस सरकार से भी उनकी लड़ाइयाँ चल रही है. These are people who are attacking cultural centers. These are people who are attacking educational centers. These are people who are bringing down Mujibur Rahman's statues. So this is not just about anti-India. This is a certain level of Islamism that has taken over. There was always a section in Bangladesh that wanted to associate with Pakistan. They never accepted 1971. So why are you giving them a cover fire by making it all about India's wrongdoings? What has India done so wrong?
In last 40 years, Bangladesh was our closest friend.
Was it?
And Sheikh Hasina has been declared a culprit by the Supreme Court of Bangladesh, and you have given asylum to her in this country. That is the biggest mistake you have made.
So you're saying that India should throw Sheikh Hasina to the wolves in Bangladesh?
Yes, to improve relation with Bangladesh.
Oh my
Our
God.
national interest
That is the diplomacy.
There is no permanent friends or enemies in politics. National interest is supermost.
Yeah, it is for national interest that we are protecting Sheikh Hasina. That's not even, I don't think that's even a question. I don't think Bangladesh even realistically expects India will ever give up Sheikh Hasina. But I'll give a final word to Kailash Adhikari on that. This is basically about pinning blame on India alone. Bangladeshis have no responsibility. If there is no secularism in Bangladesh, it is because of India's fault. No other country is ever blamed for anything. Only India is blamed, whether it's minorities getting attacked or majority getting attacked.
After 2014.
On Sheikh Hasina's stay in India, our Honorable External Affairs Minister has very categorically said that if it is an individual, Sheikh Hasina's choice to stay in India, why would India not respect an individual's choice? A. And that is very simple. And that is
He
a
has been
statement of the
declared
Honorable
criminal.
External Affairs Minister of this
Fugitive.
nation. And we are trying to say that we should not allow her to stay in India just on the pretext to improve relation with a nation
They
where
will
we
not
are
improve
on their
relations.
particular
It will improve
soil.
relations.
No, it
Where
will
the
not.
atrocities are done against the religious minorities, which are the Bangladeshi Hindus. India has time again taken this stand with them.
Okay.
And at the sidelines of a summit where Honorable PM met Mr. Mohammed Yunus, Honorable PM also reiterated that, his government, his interim government rather, it is his interim government only, that it should look into the fact that, the religious minorities need to be protected there, and false promises are given, or not even false promises, no promises are actually given. Then why would India take such a stand, Shivani? It's very common
No,
sense.
in any case, there are voices that are growing now on the kind of tribunal that Sheikh Hasina faced, on the fact that Awami League has been banned from their next elections that are slated for February. And I think time will come when their Yunus administration and Jamaat-e-Islami, all of these will face greater pressure. It's already growing. But, whether that should have resulted in this kind of a fracas that has happened over the IPL, I think that debate is still open. I leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Now, the Supreme Court today denied bail to Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam in the 2020 Delhi riots conspiracy case, citing evidence of criminal conspiracy. Dismissing the pleas of Khalid and Imam, the court said the prosecution had placed sufficient material on record to establish a prima facie case indicating their involvement in the alleged conspiracy. Court also observed that national security and public order trumped prolonged pre-trial custody. The bench, however, made a distinction when it granted bail to Gulfish Shah Fatima, Miran Haider, Mustafizur Rahman, Mohammad Salim Khan and Shadab Ahmed, who were also co-accused in this case. Now, court said that all accused cannot be treated equally and that Umar and Imam will stand on a different footing from others who were granted bail, as I mentioned. Court also observed that their role was central to the alleged conspiracy. Offences regarding security of nation require a different bail regime, and this may have impact in future cases as well. SC said that it was satisfied that the prosecution had disclosed a prima facie role to the extent of planning of the protest and the subsequent riots that took place in the national capital. Now, I spoke to senior Supreme Court advocate Geeta Luthra, who feels the two accused concerned also deserve the benefit of bail, even if with some strict conditions. Listen. Geeta Luthra, very important message coming in from the Supreme Court. Would you accept, we've seen a lot of these debates take place about under trials and how long they can be in jail under laws like the UAPA or even the PMLA, for example. But in this case, the court has distinguished between the role that Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam played versus the others.
I feel that after such a long time, even if we were to give them a bigger role, I perhaps feel that the free speech lobby and the ethos which the Supreme Court itself had carved in these kind of special acts like UAPA, like PMLA, when it's going to take so long over this incarceration for so long a period, to my mind, would not serve a purpose. To my mind, what would be is perhaps one can keep some guidelines, perhaps one could ensure they report to the police frequently, perhaps there could have been some guidelines by which the liberty granted to them could not be misused. But to my own mind, after such a long period of incarceration, you are literally doing a trial before a person goes. And the Supreme Court has said they can apply after one year.
Yes.
That, to my mind, is slightly scary.
No, they've said that you can apply for it and it will be considered more favorably because after the key witnesses have been examined, So because of their
protected witnesses.
yes, the protected witnesses, because of their role being considered quote unquote central to the conspiracy, the court has said at this stage, just with the passage of time does not become enough to guarantee your bail.
See, bail is never a guarantee. The question in my mind is this. You've had such a long period of incarceration. Tomorrow, assume they are innocent in trial. How do we return 5 years of their life? If they are guilty, they will anyway have to face the incarceration. But if 1% or 5% they are innocent, then how do we give them back the time that they are losing? To my mind, and all of human rights, Lord Denning's statements, many jurisprudence, criminal jurisprudence, which is saying, so I understand that UAPA may stand on a special footing.
Yes, yes.
There will be other acts which you have said, Makoka, you have said other enactments like SC/ST Act. The onus and the burden is different.
Yes.
But the courts have repeatedly also now said in favor of liberty that if there's going to be a long period of incarceration, then that if there's going to be many witnesses, then a person should not remain incarcerated. So in my view, and my view is obviously we have to bow to what the Supreme Court has said. It's the last court in the land. To my view, we could have looked with hedging it in with many ifs and buts, the fact that perhaps they should be given bail.
Okay.
But ultimately, the Supreme Court's the last word, and we have to bow to that.
Yeah.
I only feel that when the courts say that every day of incarceration is a new fact, perhaps the witnesses that require protection should be examined within a month. Perhaps they can be...
No, so what you're talking about to the delays, as court said, you know, just the passage of time itself doesn't mean that you are guaranteed bail. Those delays, Geeta Luthra, are not new. Especially in such cases, we've seen delays of this kind. In fact, I am reminded of, you know, the Malegaon terror case and the other terror cases in which the accused who have actually been acquitted now were incarcerated for years and years on end, but the same voices didn't speak for them. They didn't speak for a Colonel Purohit, they didn't speak for a Sadhvi Pragya, who were also booked under very severe, stringent sections of the law. They were also termed quote-unquote terrorists, but nobody batted the fact that they're also under trials and eventually they were acquitted. So is there special focus on the likes of Umar Khalid and all?
No, but I would bat even for them. I would bat for everyone who's incarcerated. So my whole argument is that we cannot do a pre-trial, and we have to see, look, ultimately it's the court that has to then look at the delicate balance.
Yes.
Ultimately it has given bail to many of the accused along with them. But I am just saying that whole principle of Gurbakht Singh Sibya, that bail not jail, is the principle. I've really made my point. The same issue which was in Manish Sisodia. You know, you can't keep a person incarcerated if trials going to take time. And that, I feel, is the fundamental of our system of rule of law and of Article 21 under the Constitution.
Right. And it certainly would help if all of these cases proceeded in a much faster way. Then this question would become less crucial than it has become now, because it has been 5 years since these individuals have been incarcerated. But remember, 5 others have also been granted bail because their role, the Supreme Court said, was not considered to be central to the conspiracy. But I'll leave it at that. Geeta Luthra, thanks a lot for joining us and giving us your point of view. And ahead of the BMC elections, we bring to you authentic Mumbai voices on what they feel the city needs and just who has a better chance this election. I met with politician and social worker Priya Dutt as she took us around Mumbai and shared her concerns that Mumbai is facing. Take a look. Got some furry friends also greeting us. What's this one called?
Patch.
Patch.
Yeah.
And Priya ma'am is a big dog lover, isn't it?
Big.
You've got three dogs. Three big dogs. So let's come in and talk to Priya ji about her house.
Yes.
And thank you so much, first of all, for having us here.
Not at all. My pleasure. My pleasure. And so happy to have you.
Tell us a little bit about the history of this place, because this area where you live is Pali Hill in Bandra, but it's very poignantly called Nargis Dutt Road, named after your mother.
Yes. So we were born and brought up here. So this land, on this land was our bungalow.
Yes.
So we've been born in that house.
Yeah.
We've grown up in that house, and it was only in the 90s where we moved out, and this, thing went for house went for redevelopment, and this building came up. And as soon as the building came up, we all moved in here. So my brother is here, my sister was here.
Okay.
And so the whole family came back together.
Oh.
And so it's wonderful. So I think I have some very, very beautiful memories. And especially living on this lane, as you see,
yes,
it's like a dead end.
Yes.
And it's a place where it's really, we've grown up. There used to be, only bungalows on both sides. So we used to be running around, playing on the road and the streets, and it was really a life of freedom, I should say, which many kids don't get that these days. All these were bungalows, huh?
And they're all getting...
So this was a building. Now that building got redeveloped.
Yeah.
So it's gone higher.
Yeah.
Then all these are old buildings. This has been there since I'm a kid. I used to stay there once our house went. Yeah. Me and my dad moved there. Then this is Dilip uncle's, Saira auntie's house, Saira Banu's house. So so it was like we were so close, Yeah. So they still stay. She still stays here. She still stays here. Yeah.
So that is Saira Banu's house, is what Priya Dutt is telling us.
Yeah.
They've lived here all for a very long time.
We've been neighbors since, I think, maybe 60 years, 60, 70. When my parents moved here, they would live. She still lives here. So it's like very close family, to us.
Real estate is such a big issue in Mumbai.
It's now huge with CRZ gone.
Yeah.
So it's exploded really.
Yeah.
And every building is going into redevelopment. Every high rises. I don't know. I know every old buildings would have to go, but I don't know what the infrastructure would be like. Because our roads are still the same. You can't really broaden it
but
more
the same
further.
Square meter will house that many more people, more cars.
More people, more cars. And you notice, as you take a ride, that a road is so small, but there is parking on both sides. So building people don't have enough parking in there, so they'll park on the streets. There is no footpath for people to walk.
Is there a solution to this problem in Bombay, or do you think no matter who is part of BMC, this is just an eternal problem?
This is an eternal problem because when you see Mumbai is an island, how you can't expand and go on reclaiming land, and I think the biggest fear here is environment. Okay, because in that whole process of we need to grow, more people are here, we need to build more stuff, more roads, more flyovers or whatever. We are not taking care of how it's going to affect us environmentally. After all, we are an island. We are surrounded by the water. And if you're going to destroy everything that protects us,
But the sense we get is that there is a lot of pressure, let's say even on the
Yeah.
BJP, Shiv Sena combined, because they hope to win the BMC.
Yeah.
Is that they want to redevelop more or, you know, create more housing. Do you think?
I don't think that should be the aim. You know, I think it should be about what quality of life you're giving to the people who are already here, right? I mean, you're bringing more and more and more people here, but what is the quality of life finally? You can't get out of your home in the evening. If you see, you can't leave your residence. And so that is the sad part. There is no planning in place. And it's unfortunately, I don't only blame this government. I blame all governments, because when they start talking about development, it's an unplanned development. It's just ad hoc growing all over the place. I know housing is important, but I feel you have to take care of people who are here first. Residents who have their places. I think you have to look at giving quality of life. I don't know, any big city is a place of dreams for anyone coming from smaller areas. Okay, it could be a New York City, or it could be even Bangalore, and it could be Mumbai for that matter. But there has to be some strategic planning to it. You can't compromise on something as important as your environment, or as important, because it's eventually going to affect the people coming here, living here. You know, and I'm very happy to see that they are, redeveloping the slums. They're giving better housing to people. I think that is very good. I think that is needed. You know, people have lived in slums for so long, and you know the conditions they have been living in is really sad. But along with that, you have to look at quality. I completely believe in that.
So we're now heading towards Mommy June's. Tell me the story about the restaurant.
So, now Mommy June is again in our office building. Now that office building also has a lot of history, because that was my dad's office. So it was his film office, it was his political office, it was my political office. I mean, that whole building has got a lot of stories to say. And so this is Niche, you know, in the ground floor of the building. And after I lost my elections, and you know, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to try something different. So a friend of mine and myself, he comes from a very a family of restaurateurs, and a very famous restaurant here called the Lucky's Biryani, you must have heard of. So it's like an iconic restaurant in Bandra, you know, been there for like, don't ask me how many years now, 80
like
years
an
or something. Institution itself. So, and we decided, listen, I love Persian food, because thanks to them and his family, I've, you know, tried Persian food. And I said, why nobody serves Persian food here? And we said, come on, let's try.
Okay.
You know, I said, I hope it fits the palate of the, you know, because it's not very spicy, and it's not, you know, the masaledar kind of khana. And he said, no, we'll start with a small menu and we'll try it out. And I wanted to make it a very quaint little place, and incorporate my father's and mother's book collection there.
Oh.
So I had saved their books. You know, we had a library at home, which my mom was a book lover. And she collected and read a lot of books. And she had this whole library. So I saved all those books. I never, you know, threw them away. And there's some amazing books there. So I said, you know, we'll make it into a little cafe library and serve only authentic Persian food. And that's how it started.
How have you seen this area change over the years? You know, Bandra, such an iconic area of the iconic city.
So Bandra was, you know, the little quaint, very Portuguese influence, like a little Goa. If you actually go into the interiors of Bandra, you know, and you have Chapel Road, and you have, you know, Bandra Bazaar, and, you know, these places are, they had all these little cottages, like if you've been to Goa, you'll see, you know, the little homes all in the little gullies of Bandra.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can still see the influence and the
yes,
very quaint
and
aspect
dotted
of it.
with little bungalows everywhere.
Yeah.
But of course, as time goes by, I mean, maintenance of those bungalows, families kind of split up.
Yeah.
Half the kids go away, for I don't know, better opportunity in the world, and parents are left behind, can't maintain it. So that's how it started going into redevelopment. Like we suddenly started seeing that these bungalows being knocked off and buildings coming up and stuff like that.
And all our apartment buildings and high
all our
rises.
apartment buildings. And I think as I was growing up, we were seeing that. But at that time, the laws were stricter, so buildings couldn't go up like 40 floors and stuff like that. We still had 7-8 story buildings and had developed. But now things change again, and I think that's the pros and cons of development. And now we see high rises going up like 30 floors, 40 floors, and more people getting cramped in.
So here we are in one of the marketplaces, 24th Street in Bandra, where ahead is Mommy June's.
Yeah.
But just look at here, there is like diversion boards and all of the
Everywhere.
BMC put.
Everywhere.
And this entire road is actually blocked, if you see here.
Yeah.
Some sort of redevelopment or work is
So
going on.
I think they're concretizing the road, but it'll happen. This will take a long time because one side will be done, then the other side will be done. And you have to be careful from not getting knocked.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see there is some pipes being redone there as well, and we saw many such spots which were all dug up. So this must be a constant pain, isn't it?
It is. And it's quite crazy because this road is anyway very narrow.
It's narrow, yeah.
And then we had that road as a no entry, but nobody abides by those rules.
Oh, okay.
People are coming from the no entry, people are going in from here. So many times it's utter chaos.
Yeah, it is pretty chaotic, I
Yeah.
can tell you that much. What do you make of the work that the BMC has managed to do, has been doing? Has it really failed the public of Mumbai, as many Mumbaikars feel very strongly?
I think so, because Mumbaikars face this every year.
Yeah.
It's not that chalo aapka kaam ho gaya. I think every Mumbaikar is very ready to compromise for a while, right?
Okay.
So they listen, okay, we will take in the difficulties for your work to be complete.
But it
And
should
that's
be completed.
It should be completed. That's it. But this happens year on year. And we wonder why, right?
The work is never complete.
It is never complete.
And then
Sometimes
you've
the
got-
paver blocks will be put, sometimes it
Yeah.
will be concretized, then sometimes there will be a stormwater drainage.
I mean, look at the condition of this road.
Yeah.
It's all up and down. This
Yeah.
is pebbled. They're concretizing that. And look at the roadside. Unfortunately, these trees have had to go.
Trees. I
And,
mean, that's
this is not a great condition that our big financial city should be in, isn't it? It's all
no
almost a
footpaths
mess.
for, that's another very big thing which I feel. As the governments, we will give so much importance to cars.
Yeah,
We'll give so much importance to car owners. But as pedestrians, we don't give anything to the common man.
It's very difficult to actually walk here.
Now tell me, there is no footpath. Where does a person walk, right?
Yeah.
We have older people, we have children.
Yeah.
We don't have that space anymore.
Yeah.
Correct? Because our concentration is more on developing roads, flyovers, the coastal road and things like this, which I love because I own a car.
Yeah.
But what about those people who
don't
don't?
own a car?
Which is the majority in our city, right?
And it's a walkable city.
It's a walkable city.
We should encourage that if we had better
Exactly.
roads and footpaths. I mean,
Exactly.
Delhi is not walkable at all.
Exactly.
But Bombay is.
Bombay is a walkable city.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should encourage, I mean, I would, especially a place like Bandra. I mean, I could walk to my office. It's
Earlier.
not too far at all. But
Now you
I
wouldn't
just
bother.
can't. I would go crazy if I had to walk.
Since I've come here and the time that I've spent here, every second corner you go to, it's dug up for some
Something or the
storm, pipes
Yeah.
work or something like that.
Nothing much will change, I feel, because I think the development, the way it's been, has taken off. You can't stall that now. It's now.
The monster has been
And
unleashed.
monster has been unleashed. To kind of haul him back is going to be difficult. So where is that outdoor space? Where is that place where we could take our kids to the park? Why do you want to take over all open spaces and build buildings?
Yeah. Well, let's see if BMC is able to offer any solutions. But we need to be offered some food now. So let's
Yes,
have
please,
some Iranian
please.
food at Mommy June's now. We've seen the condition that Mumbai is in year after year. What is your hope that they are able to deliver for Mumbai?
I just hope now they look at Mumbai as a place they can really set an example with. You know, Mumbai, as you said, is like the financial capital. People come from all over, not just India, but all over the world over here. You know, you have so many expats living here. I mean, this should be an example that should be set. I know they are building the most beautiful roads and the coastal roads and everything, but like I said, please keep in mind that there are a lot of commoners who don't have cars, who are still, you know, looking at public transport. I think improving public transport is very, very important. Look at anywhere in the world, a place like New York, people don't take their cars out. They're using public transport, and that should become a norm with
And the model
in the new modern Mumbai. You know, I think we need to have quality of life. You know, we should be able to get out of our homes, walk on the streets, see parks, enjoy our city. We are not enjoying our city. I think that is the big. We may have the most beautiful homes to live in, but what is the use if we are not able to enjoy our space
outside of it.
outside of it?
But Maharashtra as a whole has seen a lot of changes in its politics, right? Since
Yes.
2019, it's been a roller coaster of sorts.
I've lost track of who's where, what's happening, who's in which party.
Exactly, and then ahead of BMC, there have been even more different alliances that have come up and etc. Since the BJP and the Shinde part of the Shiv Sena is considered like the heavyweights in Mumbai politics or in Maharashtra politics, especially after the assembly election results, would you say they are maybe the front runners, and how would you describe their government so far?
So, see, I think it's very difficult to say in the BMC level. Okay? All our elections are very differently seen. MLA election will be very different, BMC will be very different, MP election will be very different. So, when you look at this, BMC elections haven't happened for the more than, I don't know, 8 years. Okay? And the government has been controlling the BMC funds for these 8 years. People are watching. People are watching as to what they're doing, what they're not doing, how is the money being utilized, and what's been happening. So I think this election will not be that easy. Will not be
the BJP section.
It will not be that easy. You know, you have Uddhav Thackeray and Raj Thackeray also fighting. I think they are very strong as well. They have a very huge base of supporters. So there will be, I think that
It will be a good contest.
It will be a good contest,
And
I
Congress,
think.
I mean, your party is fighting virtually alone, but with the VBA now.
Yes. Yeah, so I think it will be a good fight. It will be a very interesting fight to see. Yeah.
All right, fingers crossed.
Yes, I hope the best person wins, who actually sees Mumbai as their home, sees Maharashtra as their home, you know, and wants to really make a difference, and especially Mumbai. You know, I mean, it should be a feather in their caps. They should be proud to say that this is our Mumbai. I hope everybody has that mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
In a city that never sleeps, every decision matters. From roads to rains, from safety to services, every rupee counts. One alliance versus fractured opposition. Who will Mumbai choose? Ballot Maximum City. Complete coverage on CNN News 18. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Delhi police has categorically called a regime change operation. A lot of violence broke out, remember, as early as December 2019 in Delhi at various places, and it continued to erupt at many of these protest sites through that period between December, January, and finally when Donald Trump, the American president, was visiting Delhi, full-scale riots broke out as far as this opposition, so-called opposition to CA is concerned. My colleague Anshul Singh is also joining us. Anshul, no relief then for Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam, and both of their roles have been separated by the Supreme Court when it comes to this case.
Well, definitely that is very, very important and a very pertinent point, because this entire judgment will now set up precedent to many other such such cases, because remember, it is for the first time that in a UAPA case, the Supreme Court has gone ahead and very categorically defined that yes, a bail can be granted in UAPA, but yes, the role of each and every person who is said to be involved, that needs to be looked into. The prima facie evidences that have been put forward, that needs to be examined before granting them bail. Also, in the judgment that has been given out today, the Supreme Court has defined terrorism as well, and in fact added a few lines to that as well. If there is this conspiracy to somewhere or the other disrupt the emergency services, that also falls under terrorism, is what the Supreme Court has said. So this is going to be very, very significant and very, very pivotal in this entire investigation and the entire hearing, whenever that starts from the trial court as well. But yes, the manner in which the Supreme Court has dwelled a deep dive into the role of each and every accused, how were they involved, Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam, how they were actually planning to go ahead and disrupt the security of our country. This is something that is very, very significant at this point in time, and definitely a massive thumbs up to the investigation of the Delhi police, which had clearly gone ahead and stated that this was in fact a regime change operation that was being undertaken by Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Imam. They had planned this entire protest. They had planned the timing of this protest. The first protest that happened in December, that did not bear the fruits that they wanted, and then eventually when Donald Trump came to India, they went ahead and created these artificial quote-unquote riots that happened, which were absolutely not, which were actually not natural, is what the Supreme Court is of the opinion. However, the Supreme Court has not gone into the merits of these allegations, but prima facie the Supreme Court is of the opinion that yes, these allegations actually make sure that these accused, Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid, should stay behind the bars.
Right. Anshul, I do appreciate you joining us. Also listening to this conversation that my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar had with ASG SV Raju on the Supreme Court